Gentleman from Oregon is recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm a proud original co-sponsor of this statutory pay-go legislation. The passage of statutory pay-go will show our commitment to fiscal responsibility once again. I'm a little surprised at my Republican colleagues not being interested in renewing this bipartisan work and help stop the bleeding that's occurring in our great nation. Respectfully, I think we've lost our way a bit there. In January 2001, the United States had a projected 10-year budget surplus of $5.6 trillion. 8 years later, the 111th Congress opened to face a national debt in excess of $10 trillion and a single-year budget deficit we inherited of $1.5 trillion. What has changed? The lack of bipartisanship. During the 1990s, a Democratic president and Republican-controlled Congress worked together to balance the budget, produced record deficit-reducing surpluses by the end of the Clinton administration. However, in 2002, the Bush administration chose to allow pay-go to lapse, moved away from that bipartisan fiscal discipline. It's important for pay-go to be enacted to make sure that we live up to our fiscal responsibilities. Unlike the mere rules that we currently have, the statutory pay-go bill now before the House does not expire, cannot lapse, and is not easily waived. I'm very concerned about the alternative offered here by the good gentleman from Wisconsin, because it moves away from the pay-as-you-go principles. Indeed, it gets rid of pay-go altogether, as the chair pointed out. And frankly, it's an abrogation of our legislative responsibilities to make the tough decisions. The alternative does not establish that bipartisan pay-go measures that gave us great results not too many years ago. The arbitrary deficit limits are a return to the failed policies of the past, the Graham-Rudman-Hollins bill that led to the pay-go legislation in the first place. And frankly, with the non-specific and arbitrary spending limits, it leads to probably the Republican budget's version of what we should do to reduce spending, and that means cuts to education, health care, and public safety. Frankly, it virtually eliminates all opportunity to do the health care reform, declare our energy independence, and build on a 21st century education system that we so greatly campaigned on and fought to do here in the United States Congress. Mr. Speaker, as a small business owner and father of 5, I know how important it is to live within your means. As Oregon's chief budget writer, worked hard to make sure my spent only what it could pay for. The American people expect the same responsibility from their federal government. While American families are tightening their belts, the measure sends a strong signal that Congress plans to do the same. However, as the ranking member asserts, statutory pay-go is not a panacea by itself for our fiscal health. Our choices remain. As our economy recovers, we must cut spending, return to budget surpluses, and pay down the national debt. I support statutory pay-go as a critical first step towards fiscal responsibility, and I invite my colleagues, Democrats and Republicans alike, to support statutory pay-go.
Gentleman from Wisconsin.